I want to hear you, son. So stay right there.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
Here we are once again. You're listening to AM 1220, KHTS-Santa Clarita's hometown station. This is Doug Sutton. We want to give you another update from the powerhouse fire, which started off of San Francisco Road in the Angeles National Forest. It's north of Santa Clarita. It's now at 1,800 acres and about 15% contained. I think if you look outside and you see the smoke, you can see the winds are making it difficult at this point. They do have 600 firefighters on the ground with air tankers and helicopters making drops. For more information and up-to-date information, please go to KHTS website, hometownstation.com. That's hometownstation.com for all your up-to-minute updates on the fire. You are listening to Mind Your Own Business with Doug and Ed. We have a very special guest today, Ed. I'm excited about her. She writes a column for the Santa Clarita Gazette and free classifieds.
I was going to do a siren, and I got distracted.
Very
by my phone
unique
going
guest.
off, which shouldn't do. But I was going to go woo. But you do bail bondsing.
Let's introduce her. It's Robin Sandoval from SCV Bail Bonds. Welcome,
Bail
Robin.
Hi, everyone. Hi. How you
Nice
doing?
to see you, Robin.
Nice to see you guys too. Thanks for having me on.
Folks, if you haven't read her column, she writes every week in our newspaper, which is available all over town at any car wash or grocery store or
right.
convenience store, and it's great stuff. And
What's the
this one
title of the
today,
column?
today's column is "Making Threats, Idle or Not, These Days Can Equal Jail Time."
That's right.
This is so apropos, Robin. About 3 hours ago, I pulled into Home Depot. And I was running in, and these two guys, I thought they were friends talking. They weren't. They'd both just been engaged in some sort of road rage thing.
Oh, okay.
They started yelling at each other, these two big guys.
Oh, wow. All right.
And it's so apropos that this happened today. And the one guy said, "I ought to kick your,"
Right.
you know, and the other guy just said, "Have a nice day," and walked away.
Oh,
But
that was
from
smart.
reading this column, tell us what could happen when that kind of
Well, you know,
conversation.
it's people can be arrested for making criminal threats. That's what it's called. It's noted as the California Penal Code 422, actually, and people are arrested all the time.
Can you do a citizen arrest when they threaten you?
You know, it can take a little longer to do that, but you know, on the other side of it, once someone has been arrested and booked on it, it's not. You can't retract it. Say, "Oh, you know, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it." You know, you can text someone saying, you know, whatever your threat was, and that's you know, that can be taken as a criminal threat, and you can be arrested for something you text or say on social media. So during the summer, and I always say when things heat up, people get hot-headed and speak before they think. So it's true, you really have to, you know, monitor your words, because your actions and your words, they're enforceable in court. So you know, I try to think of little subjects each week, Doug, and that I write in the article there, that kind of touches, you know, our home here in Santa Clarita, families, and things that go on. So
That's really interesting, because normally you see on TV they go, "Well, he threatened you, but we can't do anything until something happens." It seems like there are laws that they can. You know, if you've got it on video or text saying that I'm going to come to your house and shoot your kids or something, that they could actually exercise arresting that person.
You know, there is something called a wobbler. Now, I'm not a criminal law attorney, so you know, there's a fuzzy line here, and that's what you would discuss with an attorney, obviously. But you know, when it comes to bail bonds, I can talk about that all day long, and I really enjoy kind of the repartee that kind of goes back and forth between me and some people that say, "Hey, I saw your article and that was really interesting, and I learned a lot about felonies or misdemeanors or DUI. I didn't know that." So I'm really happy to be able to provide that kind of community service and knowledge, and I like to, you know, have the discussion at Ralph's or Albertsons or wherever I am. That people,
Great, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
So tell us, okay, bail bondsman. What is that? Tell us what that is.
Well, you know, we help people get released from custody, from jail when they've been arrested. And, you know, I mean, people are arrested for a lot of different things. And these are not criminals. These are not hardened, you know, people that do this all the time. These are just average families, day-to-day working people, citizens that get into a bit of trouble, and we help get
Okay,
them
so
out.
my brother calls me tonight and he says I'm in jail and I'm panicking. He says, you got to get me out. What do I do?
That's right. You call us, and we talk to your brother, and we get as much information as we can. And our office is right across the street from the Santa Clarita station. If they're in Santa Clarita,
How
you can
convenient.
actually literally walk there. Very nice office, open 24 hours a day, and we sit down there and we discuss it, and we sign some paperwork and pay for the bond, and we can bail you out pretty quickly.
Now, how much money am I actually going to have to give you to get my brother out?
Well, California law, Department of Insurance mandates bail at 10%. That's what bail costs across the board. It should never be more than that, not in California. There are instances where we can offer an 8% bond based on certain criteria. If a person's in the military, or if they're over 55, or if they're union members, we can offer an 8% bond legally. Anything below that is not legal in California.
So are you responsible for the other 90% to the court?
If they disappear.
We are responsible for the full amount of the bond, the face amount of the bond, and the person just needs to get to court every time that is mandated by a judge. And then it's fine, it just goes away and there's no more liability. However, it's very rare that people do, dye their hair and put on a mustache and change their ID and go to another country and skip because they willfully do not want to go to court. And that's where things, come into play, where you do have to pay for the bond, the full amount. So that's kind of how it works.
All right, are you available to stay over while we take a break?
Oh, sure, of course, yeah.
Okay.
I'm here with
All
you
right.
guys.
You don't bail somebody out.
Well, that's being taken care of. I'm here with you guys.
All
so.
right, thank you, Robin.
Okay.
All right, you're listening to Mind Your Own Business on Hometown Station AM 1220 KHTS. We'll be back in a few with fire reports and more interviews.
Welcome back, everybody, to AM 1220 KHTS, Santa Clarita's hometown station. As you all know, if you look outside and see the smoke, the powerhouse fire is burning, which started off of San Francisco Canyon Road. Heavy brush and chaparral and rugged and steep terrain is burning, and that makes it very difficult to fight, particularly if you're fighting from the ground. No structures are currently threatened. The community of Green Valley is no longer under mandatory evacuation. But San Francisco Canyon Road is under a hard closure, which I guess means you can't even get off of Copper Hill. Bouquet Canyon Road and Lake Elizabeth Road are under a soft closure, open to residents only, so be prepared to show proof that you live that way if you want to go on that street. And for, as usual, and always, go to KHTS's website, hometownstation.com, for all the updates and current information on the fire. We're talking to Robin Sandoval from SCV Bail Bonds.
Hey,
Robin, you have to
Yes.
undergo this too.
what's that?
It's called Doug and Ed's Rapid Response. It's the first thing that comes to your mind when he asks you this question. Don't peek.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Okay. Now, the question is, we don't want any ahs or hums. You either answer it or you say pass.
Thus, rapid fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Favorite food you try not to eat?
Mexican.
If you could only eat one food item for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Frozen yogurt.
Where did you grow up?
San Jose.
Name a third grade teacher.
Mrs. Shaw.
Late, early, or right on time?
Late.
TV show you remember as a kid.
Brady Bunch.
Favorite TV show now?
Grey's Anatomy.
Is that still on?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It's
Oh,
good.
yeah.
News from internet, newspaper, radio, or TV?
Yahoo.
Yahoo.
Specific. Brand.
Yahoo.
Yahoo, you mean? Okay.
You said rapid.
Dance or no
accent.
dance?
What's that?
Dance or no dance?
Dance.
Can you drive a stick shift?
Oh yeah.
Worry wart or worry free?
Worry wart.
Nightlight or no nightlight?
No nightlight.
Left or right?
Right.
Yes, no, or maybe?
Yes.
First name of first kiss?
Willie. Oh God.
Take him back. Take him back.
Has Ed ever made your head spin?
Oh, every time I see him.
Has Doug made you cringe yet?
Yeah, a couple times.
Bathrobe or no bathrobe?
Bathrobe.
All right. Thank
Oh,
you for
you
putting
let her
up
off
with
the
that.
hook.
I'm not asking the
She's
last
a
one.
bail bondsman. You
No,
could have asked her the
no,
underwear.
I'm not.
What was the other one?
All
Tell
right.
read it off. Don't be silly. Don't be
Come on.
discriminatory.
Boxers, briefs, thong, commando, or depends?
I like Commando.
Okay. Ed, ask her a question about
Number
bail
two.
bonds, quick.
Okay, bail bond. When did people start doing bail to get out of jail?
Oh,
Where
and
did this come
it
from?
goes way, way back to the King's times. It's bail is one of the oldest industries there is.
I thought you could have a peasant take your place in jail back in the King's time. You just pay him to go to jail for you.
Yeah, it really started just hundreds and hundreds of years ago, and we're trying our best to keep it alive. But there's lawmakers and people who really want to get rid of bail and do something instead called pretrial release, which is just no good for the community as a whole, for taxpayers. It's not great.
Now, why would they want to lobby for that? I would imagine someone's paying to incarcerate and release these people. Why wouldn't the lawmakers and the politicians want to have the people that broke the law actually pay for some of those services?
Well, one, they kind of want to take that power away from bondsmen and from private business and make it a government thing. Pretrial release, it doesn't offer accountability. It lets people, see judge, they're released, and they could be violent offenders. There's lots of different things, but they are released. And bail bondsmen provide accountability. For the judge's orders, if a defendant violates the orders of a judge, it's a bail bondsman's responsibility to enforce that order, to bring them back to jail, to make sure that there's public safety. I mean, that's what bail bondsmen provide, public safety, and people don't really realize that sometimes, that we provide a really strong community service that way by enforcing the judge's orders. And that just doesn't happen with pretrial release. It also saves taxpayers money because it costs thousands of dollars per defendant for the taxpayer every time someone is released on pretrial release. And people don't really hear about it. If you're not in the industry, you don't know much about it. But I'd like people to really make a stand for it. Be aware of it, that we're trying to help, and we want to make sure that remains that way.
Robin, is
Save our bail.
DUI the most common thing that you bail people out for?
It can be. I mean, it just depends on the time of year, if it's summer, what's going on, if there's kind of a crackdown on DUIs. DUI checkpoints, which are, out there quite a bit, especially here in Santa Clarita. And I actually put it on my Facebook. I mean, people do respond to that. And we're just trying to help people, stay sober, and not be arrested. We don't want people to be arrested. Obviously, it happens, and otherwise I wouldn't be in business, but we don't want them to be arrested, obviously.
And I think what happens so many times is, I've heard before, somebody says, I only had 2 beers, I only had 2 glasses of wine.
That's Doug.
And so the level, it's not, that's why you hear commercials now about buzz driving, not drunk driving.
Right.
So do you run across people like that, or just flabbergasted that they got arrested?
If they are above what the 0.8 is on the breathalyzer test, yes, they will be arrested immediately. And first-time DUIs, a lot of times they'll let the person out for the very first time. The bail will be set at $5,000. That's in Los Angeles County. But a lot of times they'll let them out. They put them in the drunk tank overnight, obviously. They'll let them out on OR, or they'll cite them out. They don't need a bail bond. They usually let them out. Second time, you need a bail bond.
Okay, Robin, so we've come to the end of our time. We really appreciate you coming.
Thanks, Doug.
Okay.
Thanks, Ed.
How
so
can
much.
the folks
really
get a hold of
appreciate
you? If they got to get somebody out, what do they do?
661-299-BAIL. Easy number to remember, 661-299-BAIL. They can go to our website, www.scvbailbonds.com. Check us out on Facebook and find us there. And check the article every week in the SCV Free Gazette. We write an article.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right,
Okay,
Robin.
thanks for coming
again.
on.
Thanks, guys.
You're listening to Mind Your Own Business, hometown station AM 1220 with Doug and Ed.